Yo, what up, though? Man, I'm talking to all my SKOL family right now. The Minnesota Vikings, man. The Minnesota Vikings just signed a tackle from the Denver Broncos and Christian DeLauro, if I pronounce his name right. But I seen earlier this week they had Dalton Reisner in the building. I'm not sure what's going on with that signing or if they going to sign him or not. But earlier last week, I wanted to say the Minnesota Vikings signed Jack Snyder, an offensive lineman, along with Bobby Evans, another offensive lineman. And they signed one today. I'm going to be real with y'all on this video for real. The Minnesota Vikings, for some reason, now the Minnesota Vikings want to try and fix they offensive linemen, man, with handy downs. I'm happy they bringing in offensive linemen. I'm happy about that because I've been bashing the Minnesota Vikings about their offensive line. But you're gonna bring in offensive linemen a week before a week before preseason and a week of training camp. Like, what were the same energy at during free agency when we could have got some decent offensive linemen for real? Like, you could have got some good offensive linemen and probably not pay them that much money, honestly, though. But now it seems like the Minnesota Vikings are trying to reach, like they trying to fix their offensive linemen. Like, we had the NFL draft. You could at least draft the one or two offensive linemen. But the Minnesota Vikings did not draft no offensive linemen in the last NFL draft. So I'm just trying to figure out something. Did KOC and Kwesi look at film last week and just decided we have to fix our offensive line now? Like, where was his energy at a few weeks ago and a few months ago? Now, I'm happy they bringing in offensive linemen to compete and shit like that, but come on, man. Christian DeLore, man, the dude ain't never played a snap for the Cleveland Browns, if I'm not mistaken, or the damn Denver Broncos. Then Bobby Evans was he did worse than Ezra Cleveland from what I've been reading up on. Then you bring in Jack Snyder, another person who ain't played in no NFL games, I don't think. And Bobby Evans, the Rams can't wait to get him back on the bench from all the videos I've been hearing and watching. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what angle are the Minnesota Vikings really trying to go at now? Like, why y'all ain't trying to fix the offensive line during the NFL draft or through free agency where we could at least picked better players? But I know what's going on too, though. This is another option. Brian O'Neill probably will not be fully healthy by week 1. And the crazy part is, Brian O'Neill, he messed up, he got injured in late last year, right? So we all knew it would be a possibility he might not be ready in week 1. So you had a whole offseason, free agency, and the NFL draft to try and get a decent replacement for O'Neal, but you did not do that. Then maybe hell, they probably been watching film on Ezra Cleveland being so bad, but y'all wasn't watching the games last year when we played against a good defensive line. I'm like, come on now. The Minnesota Vikings, I'm happy y'all bringing in some offensive linemen, but y'all should have did this shit a couple months ago, man. For real. Then oh man, don't let me get on Bradbury. Like, why did we re-sign Bradbury where it was at least about 5 good center out there that actually played center we could have got for the same amount of money we gave Bradbury? And Bradbury coming off a back injury. I'm like, man, I'm happy they bringing in offensive linemen, though. Don't get me wrong. But I really think it could have been better, man. They could have got some better players early on during the offseason now, man. But man, that's just my thoughts for real on the offensive line. Now all of a sudden, the Minnesota Vikings want to try and fix the offensive line, man. Like we should have been did that shit. We should never gave Bradbury no contract, and we should have brought in some guards and tackles months ago. Now you bringing in people who ain't never really played in the NFL for real. You bringing in down there people scrap who nobody really wants to sign. And what's going on with Dalton Risner? Like why we ain't signed him to a deal and we signed the Christian dude? I'm thinking the deal probably fell through. Either he come past the physical or he wanted too much money. That's what I'm taking away from the Minnesota Vikings not signing him and they signing this Christian dude. Like, oh no, man. I just had to make a video, man, on what's going on with the offensive line. Like, man, subscribe to my channel. I'm uploading another video too, man. SKOL Nation, how do y'all feel about the offensive line moves the Minnesota Vikings are now making?